Hello, this is Rambo, and these are the truth codes. This is an introduction to the alphanumerical coding system of Gematria. Gematria has been most commonly recognized as a Hebrew practice, but also has a long history in the Greek tradition. After understanding the extremely easy to learn basic ciphers of English gematria, we will discover how its codes are established and manifest in all aspects of life, from history to current news to popular culture and sports. As an introduction, we will only look at the four base ciphers of English gematria. Everyone is encouraged to learn and apply other ciphers once the basics are established. Ciphers are letter-number attributions. A specific cipher gives a specific value to each letter of the alphabet. The value of each letter that makes up a name, word, phrase, or sentence is added. The resulting sum is the numerical value of that name, phrase, word, or sentence. Gematria reveals a connection, association, commonality of some kind between different words or phrases by giving them the same numerical value. The first base cipher of English gematria that we will look at is officially called simple gematria. It is called English gematria on the Gematrinator calculator, which I will be using for this demonstration. It is called simple and ordinal for that very reason. It's very simple to understand, and the value of each letter is based on its order in the alphabet, which is to say that A being the first letter of the alphabet has a value of 1, B being the second letter of the alphabet has a value of 2, and C being the third has a value of 3, and so on in that order until the last letter, the 26th letter, Z, which has a value of 26. In this cipher, we will calculate, for example, the value of two words, matrix and script. Matrix. M is the 13th letter, A is the first, T is the 20th, R the 18th, I the 9th, and X 24th. So you add those values up and it sums to 85. So matrix sums to 85 in simple gematria, or English ordinal gematria. The word script also has a value of 85. This is how gematria reveals a common essence or a common substance or an association between two words by giving them the same value. So here we see the relation between script and matrix revealed by gematria. The next cipher of English gematria is officially known as Pythagorean, or full reduction on the Gematrinator calculator. This cipher is similar to ordinal or simple gematria from A through I, which is 1 through 9, but as you can see in the key, all the values here are of single digits. Double-digit values are reduced to single digits by a process called theosophical reduction. In theosophical reduction, it takes a multiple-digit number and reduces it to a single digit by adding each individual digit of the multiple-digit number. In this case, J being the 10th letter. 10 is 1 and 0. If you add 1 and 0, you get 1. So J has a value of 1. K the 11th. Now 1 plus 1 is 2, so K equals 2. Some purists will also say that 11 and 22 are master numbers and therefore are not subjected to theosophical reduction. L has a value of 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3, so L equals 3, and it goes on until Z, which is the 26th letter, has a value of 26. 2 plus 6 equals 8, so Z has a value of 8. In this system, there is one exception, which is the letter S, which has to be doubly reduced, because being the 19th letter, if you add 1 plus 9, you get 10, which is still a double-digit number, so you have to go through a second round, so to speak, of theosophical reduction by adding 1 plus here to get 1, so S has a value of 1. In the Pythagorean or full reduction cipher of English Gematria, the word matrix sums to 31. The word script also sums to 31. So here, Gematria again, through a completely different set of letter number attributions, gives matrix and script the same value. So Gematria is speaking to us, telling us that there's a relation between these two words. The third of the 4 base ciphers is reverse simple or reverse ordinal Gematria. It works the same as simple or ordinal, but instead it makes the first last and the last first, which is to say, it starts with the letter Z and gives it a value of 1, Y is 2, X is 3, and so on until the last letter, since it's reversed, is A, and A has a value of 26. In this cipher, we will calculate the value of matrix and script. And once again, both matrix and script have the same value, in this case 77. So Gematria is really speaking to us about the relation between these two words. The fourth and final cipher of English Gematria is the reverse Pythagorean, or reverse full reduction, which is like Pythagorean, but again, the first is last and the last is first, which is to say that Z is 1 and A would be the 26th, and 26 gets reduced by adding 2 plus 6 to get 8. In this cipher, matrix and script are both 41 in value. So over the 4 base ciphers of English Gematria, the words matrix and script have matching values. The odds of this matching value across 4 completely separate sets of letter number attributions are astronomical. But this speaks to the common essence. There's a common essence which Gematria reveals between these two words. Related to the word matrix and script is the word silver. Silver in the context of the silver screen. A definition of a silver screen from Google: when English speakers first started attending the pictures in the 1910s, movie screens were coated with reflective metallic paint, resulting in a silver surface to better display the projected images. So silver in this context is related to matrix and script. If you see the value of silver, it matches matrix and script in all 4 base ciphers of English Gematria. There's no more vivid example of the common substance and common essence between separate words being revealed by Gematria. The Matrix, in context of the classic movie, which suggests a world which is actually a computer-generated simulation. Gematria again reveals this common thread. Microsoft, the software computer giant, has a matchup in all 4 base ciphers of English Gematria with the Matrix. This is how Gematria speaks. The most vivid example of Gematria coding in popular culture in the mainstream is the poster for the 2002 thriller movie Murder by Numbers, starring A-list actress Sandra Bullock. In the title typography for the movie's official poster, the letter E in murder is replaced by a number 3. The letter B in buy is replaced by an 8. The letter B in numbers is also replaced by an 8. So the numbers 3 and 8, 3, 8, or 8, 3, are inexplicably, unless you learn Gematria, interjected into the title typography of Murder by Numbers. So what do we consider here? The theme of the movie, which is murder. And we will calculate the value of the word murder in Gematria, in reverse ordinal or reverse simple Gematria, and reverse full reduction, which is also known as reverse Pythagorean. Murder sums to 83 and 38. So this explains, only Gematria explains why 3 and 8 are interjected into the movie Murder by Numbers. Now, the star of the movie is Sandra Bullock. Let us look at the Gematria calculation of her name in the reverse full reduction or reverse Pythagorean cipher. Sandra Bullock has a value of 83 in Gematria. So this and only this, Gematria, explains why the numbers 3 and 8 were put into the title typography of the movie Murder by Numbers. The movie star's name has a value of 83. Murder has a value of 83 and 38. So is that the reason that Sandra Bullock was chosen to star in this movie? Is it a coincidence? Or do they choose stars by the Gematria names and whether or not they match up with the theme of the movie? Well, another major part of decoding is absolutely essential is dates. In this case, you look at the dates of the principals here. The principal here is the star actress, and you look at her birthday. The other important date is the release date of the movie Murder by Numbers. Sandra Bullock was born July 26, 1964. Murder by Numbers was released on April 19th, 2002. In 2002, Sandra Bullock turned 38 years old. From the release date of Murder by Numbers, which was July 19th, 2002, through to Sandra Bullock's 38th birthday, July 26th, including the end date, that span of days, is 3 months and 8 days for a double 38. Now, for a Gematria value to be established as a code number for a specific realm or a specific theme, in this case, the theme is murder and death. So for 38 and 83 to be established as a specific code number for this specific theme, multiple words and phrases related to this theme have to also sum to 38 and 83. Now, I really hate to use such a morbid topic to illustrate the relevance of Gematria, but there is simply no other mainstream confirmation of its application other than this topic with that movie title. But there is a positive twist to the end of this decode. Gematria is not just referring to negative terms. It refers to all terms. So killing sums to 38 in full reduction or Pythagorean cipher. Death sums to 38 in English ordinal or simple Gematria. Execute sums to 83. RIP sums to 83. Morgue sums to 83. Coroner sums to 83. Mortal sums to 83 in reverse ordinal or reverse simple Gematria. Mortal also sums to 38 in reverse full reduction or reverse Pythagorean. Violent sums to 38. Eugenics sums to 83 in simple Gematria. Eugenics also sums to 38 in Pythagorean Gematria. A real-life example of the code in effect is the handgun model, the 38 Special. The generic phrase dust to dust sums to 163. And here we learn about the importance of prime numbers in decoding. A key number, in this case it's 38, can be quote-unquote hidden or occulted behind a prime number. Prime numbers are considered especially strong numbers because the only whole numbers that can divide them are themselves and the number 1. So we'll go to a numbers properties website and look up the 38th prime number, because 38 is the key number we're dealing with here. 163 is the 38th prime number, and here we learn how prime numbers are used in gematria. The term, which is a line from the generic English language eulogy, dust to dust, sums to 163, which is considered to be the same as 38, because 163 is the 38th prime number. Prime numbers are very key to decoding. A very important point there. Now we will see how the gematria code for murder and death 38 and 83 manifest in real-life historical accounts of two figures whose life legacies were defined by murder and death. First is John Wayne Gacy. Then we will segue into the assassin of United States President Abraham Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth. John Wayne Gacy is one of the most famous or infamous serial killers in American and world history. We will see how his life through to his death was coded by these gematria murder codes, as well as that of John Wilkes Booth. His name at birth, assuming that this was the name given to him at birth, John Gacy, sums to 83 in simple gematria. John Gacy also sums to 38 in Pythagorean. John Wayne, his first name and middle name, sums to 38. John Wayne Gacy famously moonlighted as a party clown, earning him the moniker the Killer Clown. Here again we see the significance of prime numbers. Killer Clown sums to 163, like dust to dust, which is the 38th prime number. Clown Costume sums to 163, the 38th prime number. Clown Makeup sums to 163. Psycho Jester sums to 163. Here we see how popular culture is also coded. Again, we looked at murder by numbers. The most famous killer clown, albeit a fictional killer clown, is the Joker of DC Comics, who is the Batman villain. All these terms, Psycho Jester, Clown Makeup, Clown Costume, the Killer Clown, can apply to DC Comics' The Joker. Speaking of the Joker, in 2019 saw the release of a cinematic adaptation of the Joker. And his face paint pattern is very significant here because this ties into John Wayne Gacy that we were talking about. The face paint pattern of Joaquin Phoenix, who starred as the Joker in the 2019 adaptation in the movie Joker, his face paint pattern paid homage to John Wayne Gacy. The face paint pattern that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker exhibited has never been seen before in any other previous cinematic adaptation of the Joker. It's never been seen in DC Comics, the Joker, and it's never been seen in any television, animated, or film adaptation of Joker. It is distinct to John Wayne Gacy. The defining feature of John Wayne Gacy's face paint pattern is the blue triangles over the eyes. So Joaquin Phoenix's Joker from the 2019 award-winning Joker movie pays homage to John Wayne Gacy. Further homage is paid to John Wayne Gacy when Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, also known as Arthur Fleck, performs at Pogo's Comedy Club. Pogo was a nickname of John Wayne Gacy's alter ego as Pogo the Clown. This is from Wikipedia. Quote, John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer and sex offender known as the Killer Clown who assaulted and murdered at least 33 young men and boys. Gacy regularly performed at children's hospitals and charitable events as Pogo the Clown. So Joaquin Phoenix's Joker performing at Pogo's, in addition to wearing distinctly John Wayne Gacy's face paint pattern, paid homage to John Wayne Gacy. People like John Wayne Gacy normally aren't the type of people that you expect major tributes to, but this is the world we live in. Now back to the 38 code with John Wayne Gacy. This goes on, as we'll see, through to his death. John Wayne Gacy died on May 10th, 1994. There are multiple ways of calculating date numerologies. One way is to add the month to the day to each individual digit of the year. So in the case of May 10th, 1994, John Wayne Gacy's execution date, it is 5 plus 10 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 4, which sums to 38. So John Wayne Gacy was executed on a day with 38 numerology. And if you spell out the date, May 10th, Maytenth, it sums to 38 in the reverse Pythagorean cipher, also known as the reverse full reduction on the Gematrinator calculator that we're using here. May 10th, a very significant date. This is where we segue into another person whose life legacy is based on murder and death, and that is the assassin of Abraham Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth. So that same date, May 10th, that when spelled out sums to 38 in Gematria, is the birthday of John Wilkes Booth, who was born in the year 38, which is 1838. So you see here, he's born into the code. John Wilkes Booth died in Port Royal, Virginia, which is on the 38th parallel north. So this happens through to his death. And just a slight digression to illustrate some of the magic of Gematria. 26th of April is written 264. If you spell out 26th of April, it sums to 264. That's in simple Gematria. His last name sometimes was Wilkes. He is also known as J.B. Wilkes. I mean, it also went as his middle name as well. So Wilkes is an appropriate name for a murderer because Wilkes, murder, and mortal have a perfect match in reverse ordinal and reverse full reduction at 83 and 38. He famously shot Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater on April 14th, 1865, a date written 4/14/65. 4 plus 14 plus 65 sums to 83. So the historical event in which he shot Abraham Lincoln was on a date with 83 numerology. Abraham Lincoln's death was avenged by Boston Corbett, who extrajudicially executed John Wilkes Booth. Boston Corbett was an Union Army sergeant. His last name, Corbett, sums to 83. And again, he extrajudicially executed John Wilkes Booth, just as John Wayne Gacy was executed, and the word execute sums to 83 in Gematria. Now here's interesting synchronicity. The most famous assassin of a world leader in history is Junius Brutus, who assassinated Roman Emperor Julius Caesar. It turns out that John Wilkes Booth, who also assassinated a very famous assassin of a prominent world leader, had a father who was named after Junius Brutus, who assassinated Julius Caesar. Junius Brutus Booth was a Shakespearean actor who no doubt acted in the play Julius Caesar, as did John Wilkes Booth, as Wikipedia highlights here, depicted acting in Julius Caesar. This is John Wilkes Booth to the left. These are his two brothers. The one on the right is actually Junius Brutus Booth Jr. So his brother is named after Brutus, who assassinated Julius Caesar. His father is named after Brutus, who assassinated Julius Caesar. His father was a Shakespearean actor who no doubt acted in Julius Caesar. His sons continue the family tradition and are depicted, highlighted even on his Wikipedia page, as acting in the play Julius Caesar, because John Wilkes Booth, at the time he assassinated Abraham Lincoln, was one of the most prominent actors in the United States. He was literally a celebrity. So the President of the United States was assassinated by a celebrity actor at the time. And here he is in the play, Julius Caesar. Uh, his brother Junius Brutus both is holding a dagger, so you'd assume he may be Brutus. But nonetheless, John Wilkes Booth would go on in his life to emulate the person that his father and brother were named after. And is noteworthy where that life imitating art emulation happened. It happened in a theater, Ford's Theater. The phrase Julius Caesar assassination sums to 83. Now, an important point to make here is that no number is exclusively negative or exclusively positive. Multiple numbers, multiple phrases that are attached to certain numbers. There are literally hundreds of thousands or millions of word phrase combinations that sum to 83 and 38, for example. So 83 and 38 are not exclusively negative numbers. Murder and death does not have exclusive dominion over the numbers 83 and 38. No number does. 83 and 38 can also manifest in the opposite phenomenon. So when you see a number manifest in a Gematria decode, you have to look at the context in which that number manifests. And here we'll look at 83 and 38 in the complete opposite manifestation. The most positive and life-affirming phrase in the English language, I love you, sums to 38. 38 is and 83 are codes for murder and death. The opposite of death is life and birth. Well, who gives birth? Who nurtures life and gives birth? The mother. Mother sums to 83. So these are two of the most positive, life-affirming, life-preserving, life-nurturing phrases. I love you and mother, 38 and 83. The word loving sums to 83. In fact, loving and murder are a supermatch across 3 of the 4 base ciphers. So this vividly illustrates the fact that no particular theme has exclusive dominion over any set of numbers. And in fact, 2 completely antithetical themes can manifest the same number. So when those numbers manifest in a narrative that you are decoding, you have to consider the context in which that number is manifesting. Caring sums to 38. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and join me as I observe the world around us through both conventional and arcane lenses, symbolism, mythology, archetypes, which all synchronize, of course, with Gematria. And ask yourself, are the events of the past and present actually determined by scripts or a natural matrix that produces what at least appears to be coincidences?